Hey y'all, my name is Taylor. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So today's video I'm doing fall recommendations. I had actually put together this list last year and I never got around to filming it. So I was like, well, the work's kind of already been done for me. I did add a few since last year to this list, but I just had to actually get around to filming it. So we are in the middle of October right now, so it's a little bit delayed, but we still have, rest of October and November. So hopefully it can still be helpful to some people. But yeah, so this video is the first one I am filming in our new house in front of my new, well, they're same bookshelves, just in a different location, different setup. My books are not in the look that I want right now. I'm just happy that they're up and out of boxes and up on my shelves. So there's that. So that will change. Eventually I will, fix them how I want them. It's just not a priority right now. But let me know if you're interested in a bookshelf tour. My bookshelves have been downsized quite a bit since moving. But if you're interested in it, just let me know. But anyways, I have I have a list of books for you. So a lot of these I don't own. Going back to my previous statement, I have downsized quite a bit, but I will share with you the ones I do have physically, but also I'll put pictures up of ones that I don't have. All of these will be linked in the description box if you want to find them, all the good things. So I'll start off with genres. So to me, the fall time is really cozy, right? And there's certain books that kind of fit that vibe. I am a very seasonal reader. Something in me just rebels against reading like a Christmas book during fall time, or, a Christmas book during spring, or a fall book during summer. So I just, in my head, I have, one, if it has like actual writings, like the story is set in the fall, it talks about the leaves changing and apple cider and going on hay rides and pumpkins and all the things. So one, the setting has to be right. I also tend to feel more like fantasy and fairy tale retellings. Who am I kidding? That's always the norm for me, but especially during fall, I feel like that type of world is just very cozy to me, very whimsical, which is, I think, very fall. I also really think that mysteries and thrillers, romantic suspense, something more chilling about just about a situation that is not the norm, like a murder mystery or something on the edge of your seat where you get that crisp feeling of fall when things are kind of on the edge and you just need to know what happens. Let's see, what else? Historical romance. Some of those can be fall-ish, if not necessarily written in the fall. Yeah, and then obviously I think I already said mystery. So I am going to separate these out by genres. So I have my list here. So let's see. I'm going to start off with The Librarian of Boone's Hollow by Kim Vogel-Sawyer. This one is a, did I already say? Historical romance. I am a dumpster fire. Anyways, historical romance section. Librarian of Boone's Hollow by Kim Vogel-Sawyer. This one is a Packhorse librarian's story. So if you're familiar with that time in history, these, mostly women, got on horses and were librarians on horseback. They would go to hard to reach areas, particularly in the mountains, I think. This one's set in Kentucky. And so it's a love story too, so that's good. And I just really enjoyed like the mountain-esque feel of it. Similar vibes, but kind of an older book. It's a Christian classic. Is Kristi by Catherine Marshall. This is my collector's edition. I love it. I just got it recently. But this one is about a young teacher who is from Asheville, North Carolina, so like the city. She's kind of had a privileged life, but she feels the call from a missionary to go and be a teacher to the backwoods of Tennessee, Cutter Gap. And yeah, so she has a huge growth of character. There is a love triangle in this one. So if you don't like those, just know that going in. But I think it's more a little bit lighter. It's more kind of focused on Kristi and her growth and her spiritual journey. But it is a Christian classic, so it's definitely well worth the read. Set in the mountains of Tennessee. Just Tennessee, I think, just goes perfectly with the fall time, like the changing of the leaves. My family would always go there in the fall. I haven't been in quite a few years now, but that was a time of going to the mountains, is during the fall. So anything set in the mountains, I'm like, fall. Finding Lady Enderley by Joanna Davidson Politano. This one, it's the only book I've read by Joanna so far, but I've heard that she is very atmospheric. She's kind of well known for the fall time. This one in particular is about a young woman that takes a job to stand in or kind of be like an actress for Lady Enderley. And so she's trying to figure out what happened to the real Lady Enderley. Is she alive? Is she, what happened to her? Because she's pretending to be married to this man. Nothing happens. It's Christian fiction. But there's just very interesting situation that's going on, kind of a creep factor. So that one is very atmospheric, very eerie. So then Man of Mist and Shadow by Michelle Greep. That one is extremely atmospheric. I would say one of the ones that is the most atmospheric on this list. Like when I think of this book, I think fall. It is based on, like loosely based on Dracula. It's about this young woman who runs this bookshop with her dad, and this man comes into town, and the town thinks that he is a vampire, and she's trying to dispel this myth that he's not a vampire. He's just a dude that's kind of weird, and so she gets to know him, and you find out what's really going on. Spoiler alert, there are no actual paranormal things in this book. It is straight historical romance. It draws a lot of lines from Dracula, like the inspiration, like Bram Stoker is in this book. Like he drew, so to speak, from the story to make Dracula is what the author's intent was, and kind of tying those two worlds together, so to speak. But yeah, very atmospheric. You feel like you're in the mists in a urban town in the 1800s. It's just super atmospheric, and I love that part of it. And then, let's see, Hope Between the Pages by Pepper Basham. This one is a dual timeline. The modern day timeline is about a young woman who inherits this bookshop, and the bookshop's ownership is in peril, so she's trying to find records of, the deed and to prove ownership and all that. And then the past timeline is about a young woman who worked as a servant in Biltmore Estate, and she was the book maiden. I was trying to think of what it was. Not a librarian, but she called herself a book maiden, and so she was responsible for taking care of the library of books, which are 10,000 books. I know that from being at Biltmore several times. Yeah, so she meets this man. She helps find him a book, and they kind of start talking. And so you figure out the connection between the two storylines. And for this one, I am a settings girl. I'm finding that out a lot about myself lately. Like, I'm a settings girl. I love the setting, particularly if there's a special connection to it for me. Biltmore Estate, I grew up going to it. I haven't been in several years. I would love to go, but it's very expensive. But anyways, we would go during the winter time, but it's set in the mountains, Asheville, North Carolina. Again, my brain, mountains equals fall. I know there's other seasons that mountains experience, but just to me, it looks the most beautiful in fall. And books, and there's so many great quotes in this one. I'm not usually one to pick out quotes too much. I think I appreciate them, but I'm not one to be like, oh, I need to write that down. One of my long-term goals is to go through this book and pick out some wonderful quotes. So yeah, that's why I have a physical copy of that one. I just love the quotes in that one, and I loved all the Biltmore stuff. Let's see. Okay, moving on to the fantasy category. So let's see. To Defy a Dream by Mary Meekum. I have to make my brain say her name correctly because I've been saying it wrong for a while. She's one of my absolute favorite authors. This one is a Beauty and the Beast. No, that's entirely wrong. No. Sleeping Beauty. Okay, there's a beauty in there. It was the wrong beauty. Sleeping Beauty retelling. So this one is, what if Sleeping Beauty put herself to sleep on purpose? And so there is a realm, so to speak, that these people in this kingdom, they're being put to sleep and they're trapped in this world. And so she puts herself to sleep to go and break the curse, so to speak. So yeah, a very interesting take on the Sleeping Beauty retelling. I really enjoyed it. Another one by Mary Meekum is Scarlet in the Dark Woods. That one is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. It's part of the, I think it's the Autumn Fairy Tales, I think it is. Absolutely written to be read in the fall time. I remember the reading descriptions of the leaves changing in the woods and all that. But this one is, I forget what her actual name is, but the red character, she is in a community with her grandmother, kind of think like almost like a tribe, I guess, for better lack of words. But they're in this community where every year someone gets voted out to kind of keep the population down. And her grandmother gets voted this time to get booted out. And so grandma leaves and Scarlet, that's her name, Scarlet, duh. Okay. Oh, y'all. Scarlet is very concerned about her grandmother. She's like, I'm going to go after her. So the woods surrounding this community is, very dangerous. There's magical beings in there. Nobody's ever come back type of thing. And so she meets a wolf in the woods and things are not all that they seem. So, Becoming Hook is yet another one by Mary Meekum. You can read anything by Mary Meekum, I guess. There's several of hers I have not read yet, but I think they would fit the fall prompt or the fall time frame. But Becoming Hook, and I do own this one. Why did I not grab it? Here it is. Becoming Hook. It is book one in the Legends of Neverland. And this one is a Peter Pan villainous retelling. So Peter Pan's the bad guy and Hook is the good guy. There's a romance between him and Tinkerbell. Enough said. If you're even remotely interested in that, I would highly recommend. I've gone on about it several times. Let's see. I think that's it for now by her. Had several by her. Let's see. Bluebeard and the Outlaw by Tara Grace, I think is her name. I'm going off of memory. I did not write last year did not write the authors' names. I figured because I probably knew who they were at the time. But anyways, Tara Grace, I think, is her name. This one is a retelling of the Bluebeard fairy tale, which is very dark, and a mashup of Robin Hood. And yeah, it's just, I think that one, the more blind you go in, the better. But essentially there's an arranged marriage and there is a plot to figure out what happened to some previous wives of the husband. I'll just leave it there. But yeah, that one is very, very eerie. So that one is like, may not be for every reader. If you're like even remotely squeamish about reading things, I would caution you on that one. There is a description part that may be too much for some people. I didn't think it was overly descriptive, but again, I'm not overly sensitive to that. So just if you are, just know that. The Bluebeard fairy tale, if you can't stomach that at all, I would not recommend this book. But it is clean. It's not a horror book or by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a little bit more eerie than what I typically read. Anyways, another Peter Pan retelling is Dust, and it's a part of a duology. The sequel is Shadow. Kara Swanson is the author, I think, if my memory serves correctly. That one, I don't know, like the cover of book one looks fallish to me. I don't know why, but this girl named Claire has dust that you figure out is like pixie dust. And so Peter Pan has been exiled from Neverland. And so he's trying to get back to Neverland. So he meets this girl, Claire, and what do you know? She may be the key. Let's see. I'm going to do some of my hard copy ones so I can stop holding these. Let's see. Mark of the Raven is the first book in the Ravenwood saga, and I think that the cover itself, like there's some fall foliage going on. And this one is a Christian fantasy. It's by Morgan L. Bussey. And this one kind of, I would say it's kind of in the realm of like a spiritual warfare type of vein of thinking, but in a fantastical sense. Like it's not straight like spiritual warfare. There's magic in this book, like in the sense of people have magical abilities or magical gifts. For example, her name's Selene, Lady Selene. She has the ability to dream walk. She can manifest her consciousness in someone's dreams and kind of manipulate dreams. So she finds out that her ancestors are assassins using this gift. And so her whole worldview is shifted. This one does also have kind of a more darker themes to it. It's not like overly dark, not horror, but kind of hang in there with this one because there is pretty strong allegory and Christian messages in this one. And then let's see. Ariadre and the Legend of the Fire Rose by Kristi A. Cole. She's a fellow booktuber. I love her to pieces, and I love this book to pieces. So this one is a YA clean fantasy book. It's its own story, but it does have some feelings of being a fairy tale. So if you like the fairy tale feeling, I would definitely recommend this one. It was so good. Very impressed. It opens with this young girl who, and she and her family, her parents, are running away from this beast. And so she escapes and she runs to and seeks sanctuary from this boarding house. And so she ends up staying there and growing up there and learning things. And the boarding house is for girls to learn how to be ladies, but also how to defend themselves and survive against these creatures in the woods, these evil creatures. And so there are more and more evil creatures coming about, and so she's a very strong young lady. And yeah, it was really good. It was an on the seat of your pants one, especially towards the end. And then here's another classic. So The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one, I'm not even going to describe to you what this is because you have not been living under a rock, you know what this is. But I would encourage you that if you haven't read this book and you like the movies or you like the idea of Middle Earth or whatever, I would recommend reading this one because it is a lot easier to read than I thought it was, especially if you pair it or even just listen to the audiobook by Andy Serkis, who's the guy who played Gollum in the movies. He did a phenomenal job with this book. And I have not read the Lord of the Rings trilogy because that one is too far over my head at this point in time with postpartum brain. But this one was easy for me to understand. So I do recommend it. Very cozy. The Hobbits are just cozy. Like cozy equals fall in my brain. So let's see if there's anything else I missed. The Secrets in the Mist. This one is more of a steampunk. This one is also by Morgan L. Bussey, the same person who wrote the Ravenwood Saga. This one I just read this year, and I don't think I've given a full review of it on my channel yet. But this one is very unique because this one is kind of like zombie story. Where this mist has spores in it where they take over someone's body and changes them and basically kills them, and then the spores keep going. They make the body move and to, spread. So people are trying to avoid being in the mist, so the population is condensed into a small area. And yeah, it's got you can kind of see the steampunk elements to it. It was a very interesting read. It's a duology. Reads pretty quick. Yeah, I think the colors just say fall too. So Highly recommend that one for a fall feeling. I mean, the mist itself, I mean, that kind of reminds me of fall. Anyway, I have another fairy tale retelling. Who's surprised? Not me. So Before Beauty by Brittany Fichter. This is book 1 in the Classical Kingdoms collection. I own all of them. This is the only one I've read so far. I need to get on the ball with this because I really did enjoy this book. It is not Christian fiction. It is clean fiction, but there's some strong allegory, particularly at the end of the book. Obviously, you can guess what this is about. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm just not even going to say anymore. I mean, you got books, you got a castle in the woods, mystery, magic, fall, okay? Okay, so I had to pause the video. If I look a little bit more pink, it is because I had a random coughing jag that I was not expecting at all. I think it's because the temperature dropped last night, was not fully prepared. Anyways, I'm here. Yeah, so the next section is romantic suspense, and this category I only have one series to recommend you, and that's because I tend to be more critical of romantic suspense. I just find them a lot of times too unrealistic and tend to either rate them lower or DNF them. So hard to make me happy with this genre, but I do have one, and that is the Annie Peterson series by Colleen Coble. And this one is about Annie. She is a park ranger, I think it is. And her sister disappeared when they were both kids. And so that kind of inspired her to pursue the career she has. And she also is the owner of a camp. Her parents passed away, I think, and she's kind of taken ownership of the camp. She's a single mom. There is a second chance romance in this book. The guy that's come back into her life, he is being suspected for murder for these people that are found in the woods dead. And so it's trying to figure out what's going on. There's some not spooky, but mysterious things going on. So yeah, that one's very on the seat of your pants. Highly recommend the audiobook. That will definitely increase your reading experience for sure. Highly recommend it. And then we have mystery. So I really enjoyed The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle. This is a Sherlock Holmes book. This one is one out of the two on this list. That one and the other one I mentioned before, which was Man of Mist and Shadows. Those two, I would say, are the most atmospheric on this list. I felt like I was in the moors of England with the fog around me and like the howling and stuff. Like, it was great. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Mystery of what's going on. Sherlock is on the trail. I really enjoyed it. I had read it last year and I hadn't read any of the other ones, and I was totally fine. Like, if you're familiar with Sherlock and Watson, you're fine. You're good. I am going to be reading them in chronological order, so there's that. But I think this one is very fall. Just the setting and the atmosphere and the fact that it's a mystery. So those are all the ones I have to offer you today. Let me know if you read any of them. Let me know your thoughts. If you recommend any for the fall time, I'm constantly adding to my TBR a lot of times because of y'all. So let me know all the things. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good day. Bye.